Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be, is she worth my time? So this particular email is from the same viewer whose previous email I answered in, should I wait to date to work on myself first? So this guy is a musician who's doing well in his musical career. In the last email, he was thinking, why don't I just focus on my career and the heck with women? And I told him he can do both things concurrently. And so he's been doing that. And so he's meeting a lot of girls. And he started dating a girl he really likes. But it seems like she's getting a little colder, a little distant. And she seems to be not as interested as before. And he's wondering, is she worth his time? So he says, hi, hey, Corey, I've been following you for about 6 years. And you've been an immense help for me. I've read the book well over 25 times. You answered my last email in your video, should I wait to date to work on myself first? And I have an update. I've been dating around, creating a solid roster. Good job. And I have a good revolving door, being the singer in a cool local band and bartending in New York City. The city that never sleeps. I was just brushing the dogs and it was like fucking hair got all over me. It was like, geez. So if you're wondering, like, you ever see me going, it's because there's like little hairs floating around or about to hit me in the face. And so I kind of blew them away. I just had one that was kind of partially in my nose. That's fun. Anyways, he says, I met one girl that I've dug, and it's been a bit of an adventure. I met her while bartending and invited her to a house show I was playing in that night. So just a couple things to point out. He's a bartender, so he's in a position of authority. And on top of that, he's a musician, so he gets up on stage, which is very brave and very courageous. And we've all heard the sex, drugs, and rock and roll, the whole 9 yards that musicians have enjoyed for decades. And so it's just like if you're a public speaker or you're a CEO of a company, you're in a position of leadership. And to get up in front of an audience and rock out like that, it's very attractive. And guys like that, they take a break or they have a break in between their set. Girls are going to come up to him. Especially if he's working at the venue where he also plays. That's just a great situation for his social life. Women literally are coming to him. So she said she couldn't, but wanted to come to the next one and asked for my Instagram. She messaged me the next day to message her for the next show. She looked cuter on Instagram, and when I met her, those filters are amazing. So I asked her out for a drink, to which she agreed. We had a blast on the first date and ended up at her place, almost hooking up, but she ended it early. She texted me 2 nights later at 10 p.m. to hang out, but I was out with another girl. So if normal conditions, she's texting you at 10 o'clock at night, you'd be like, hey, come over. That's if you're already hooking up, or at least if she's been to your house and you almost hooked up. She did this again, but I parked my bike just before 1 a.m., but she said she was tired and wanted to go to bed, basically blew me off. I deleted her number and wrote her off after that since I felt jerked around. So she's reaching out, wanting to know if he's available. And he wasn't, I guess he wasn't till later. And she said, oh, I'm just tired. So I could see, you look at that, you go, she's just looking for attention, wants to know that a guy's available. Might be she's feeling lonely, or Chad Thundercock's not available, or things are going sideways with Chad Thundercock. And that's why she put you on the back burner and not actually agree to meet up, even though she's the one texting you. But it looks like several hours went by before he's able to reply. And then by the time he did, she was unavailable. He says, however, I kept bumping into her around town. Well, usually that means the universe is trying to tell you something. Until one night, I blew her off, and she texted me apologizing for putting her foot in her mouth. See what an attitude change? This is so important. If a woman treats you like you're an afterthought, or jerks you around, or blows you off, it's like just dish it right back to them. Go spend your time with people who are excited to see you and be with you. Girls that are on the fence, or even when it comes to friends, if they're not sure, go make plans with other people. Don't try to keep people in your life that aren't really making the same level of effort to keep you in theirs. Later that night, she saw me on a date with a different girl. So what's going to happen? Bling! A switch gets flipped. She also overheard guys at the bar saying, that guy's the lead singer in a band. He brings a different girl in here every night. That's helpful. That's his reputation. He's popular with other ladies. So if she's not talking to him, more than likely he's talking to somebody else. The next time I bumped into her, she was all over me. She invited me to go home with her, and after her friends left, we hooked up. Rinse and repeat a few times afterwards. See, she's kind of indifferent, could take it or leave it. And as soon as she finds out about his reputation, there's lots of ladies after him or around him. Complete attitude change. That's what you guys will notice. You do this enough, especially you meet a chick who's kind of got an attitude, or if you're getting introduced. I remember that happened to me, one time many years ago when everything was coming together and the light bulbs were going off. And so we went out. I know I've talked about this particular instance over the years, but it was amazing. I mean, this girl's cute, and one of the girls that I worked with had invited her to come hang out with me and one of my other buddies who was hooking up with the girl that I worked with. The three of us worked together, and so she brought one of her friends to introduce me, and she just kind of had an attitude and a little condescending to me. I'm just thinking, you're coming along in my party, and because she was kind of rude and dismissive and acted like she was, she had an attitude, but she wasn't hot enough to have the attitude that she had. And so we were going to, we had a VIP table set up, and there were other girls coming, and a few of them might have been strippers, actually, that were coming to hang out with us. And so when we get there, it's like I kind of walked in front with my buddy, and I really paid her no more attention the rest of the night. As I was like, I'm not going to deal with her attitude, screw her. She's not even that cute. And so she sees me talking to these other women who were very beautiful, who I had invited. And 11, 12 o'clock at night, she came over and whispered in my ear and just said, can we go somewhere where we can be alone? I was like, oh, check, please. So we went back to my house, hooked up, and it was funny. The next day, the girl that I worked with, she was sitting in my office kind of laughing about it. And she was like talking to her friend, and she's like, did you sleep with him? She's like, yeah. And she's like, did you like him? She's like, no. And she's like, well, why'd you sleep with him then? He's like, because he wasn't paying attention to me. It's just one of those things when it happens, you're like, God. It makes no sense, but again, especially it was that and a combination of all the other women that were there who, quite frankly, were a lot better looking than she was. And they had a better attitude. But it was a fun evening. And so it's kind of the same thing that's going on here. Last time we hung out, she was feeling a bit sick, but wanted to go out for dinner. It was also a Jewish holiday, so she was supposed to be fasting, but didn't. We ended up at her place, and I made her come, I think. Then she said she needed to go to bed because she felt guilty fooling around on holiday. Naughty. Attraction level cuts through everything, even though it's a religious holiday. She was really attracted. He says, I was cool with it, asked if I did anything wrong. But she said no, mistake, I think. Yeah, I wouldn't have said, did I do anything wrong? I kept it playful, tickle fight, kissed. She sat in my lap after that. She texted me the next day saying she loved my new song, sent a funny meme, and I invited her to hang out and come to my show that night. She had plans with a friend, and I was going out of town in a couple of days, so couldn't see her. I got back into town and texted her at 11:30 that night saying I was out in our neighborhood, and she said she was in a different neighborhood, and I liked the text. I hooked up with some cute girl who approached me in the bar's bathroom shortly after that. Really? What were you guys doing in the bathroom? A little booger sugar, probably? Naughty. That stuff's not good. Never done the booger sugar. Never touched it, never tried it, never wanted to. When I heard, this is back in the 80s, this, for a lot of younger guys, be like, what? So back in the mid 80s, Michael Jordan, his career was taking off, and so there was this player who was like #1 draft pick, and they're like, oh, he's the next Michael Jordan. And so to celebrate him being drafted #1 and getting a nice rookie contract, he did a line of booger sugar, and apparently he had some like heart anomaly. Yeah, Len Bias, I think was his name, if I remember right. And he fucking died of a heart attack right there. So to celebrate, and so when I heard that as a kid, I was like, man, that's some bad news. I wouldn't want to do that stuff. So I smoked and I drank, but I never did any of that shit. Didn't do pills, any of that. I had a half a Xanax once. That was as far as it went. She texted me the next day asking how my trip was, said she was excited to visit that same place, and that she was flying out the next day. I asked if she was free that night before she left to hang. She said no, she was too busy. I just told her to text me when she's back. So you got to be congruent with that. That means you don't call, you don't text her for any reason. Because you got to give women the time and the space to follow through on their plans and their commitments, or to flake out and disappear forever. And so she's not really jumping through her butt to make time for him. And so it pretty much looks like he's one of probably several guys she's talking to. But in all fairness, he's doing the same thing. He says, did I over pursue, or was this purely logistical problems? Well, I'd say it was logistical problems, and who knows, maybe you did over pursue a little bit. But quite frankly, from what you shared in here, it doesn't look like that. But you notice that when you're a little difficult to get a hold of, or you're a challenge, or she hears about you with other ladies, she comes after you. Just like the girl I was talking about, who in the initial part of the evening, she was just like, she was so arrogant about it. And I was just like, you're not hot enough to have that attitude. I didn't say that, but I was thinking that. And that's why I just paid her no attention the rest of the night. And I was focused on the other girls that were there and having a good time until she came over and whispered in my ear and like, let's go, basically. Because it pissed her off. Roughed up her ego a little bit. And so she's like, uh-huh. It seemed like she was super into me for a while. Told me she only dates with intention. Sure. But also complained about how guys never asked her out and how hard dating is in our city because hot girls are a dime a dozen, which is true, he says. I would love your thoughts, Coach. Is this girl worth my time? She's really hot, cute, and feminine. I'm a fan of her. Thanks for everything. Well, don't be her fan. Don't think like that. So at this point, I mean, remember, dating's like tennis. You hit the ball over the net, and now she's got to hit it back. So you told her to get in touch when she was back in town and be congruent with that. Who knows? Maybe you don't hear from her for a few weeks, and then you're out, and she comes up to you, and then you say, hey, let's get out of here and go back to my place. So I wouldn't do anything other than that. It looks like her interest kind of is like mediocre, maybe a 6, just based on her attitude, maybe a 7 sometimes. And so I would just look at it as a potential rotation girl, not do anything, not call, not reach out to set anything. Just let her do all the pursuing. Because she's proven that she's willing to reach out. She's proven she's even will reach out and ask you out. So in this case, I would say it's better not to do anything and just let her reach out and make dates when you hear from her. Let her be the one pursuing you. You are the successful musician that's on stage, and she knows you got other girls. She's seen you with other girls, so let her do the work. Let her be the one to talk you into spending more time with her. She'll like you more. She'll get emotionally hooked. And then everything will be like butter after that. As long as she's normal and healthy and not a lunatic. So if she reaches out, I make a get-together happen. If she texts you after 8 o'clock at night, just say, come over. And other than that, I wouldn't pursue her at all because it kind of looks counterproductive. She likes it more if she has to chase you. It's just the way they're wired, man. When you're indifferent, you got a great life, there's other ladies chasing after you. She wants the unattainable guy, a guy that, as Doc Love would say, is a challenge. So other than that, this is a pretty simple situation with this particular woman. I wouldn't do any pursuing. I just wait to hear from her and then make dates and get-togethers and booty calls happen when she does. Because her attitude is completely different when she's the one reaching out to you, because then it's her idea. So there you have it. So if you got a question or challenge and you want to get my help, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the coaching tab at the top of your screen on any page of my website, and book a coaching session with yours truly. And if you haven't already signed up for our exclusive premium members-only content In the video description of this video, there are links to join on YouTube or Spotify or our website, understandingrelationships.com. And with the website, you can do a 7-day free trial to check out what content you get for your money. And if you choose an annual plan, you can get a 25% discount at the end of the 7-day free trial. So go to understandingrelationships.com, click the plans tab, sign up for a 7-day free trial. And until next time, we'll talk to you soon.